An older fella happened to find a bottle of Viagra in his grandson's bedroom. He was kind of curious, so he called his grandson up and said, "Hey, do you mind if I try one of these pills? I've never taken one before." His grandson said, "Well, they're about $20 a pill, but yeah, go ahead." Grandpa said, "Well, I'll leave $20 underneath your pillow." Well, later on, the grandson comes home and he lifts up his pillow and he finds a $20 bill and a $100 bill. He called his grandpa up and said, "Pops, I told you they were only $20 a pill." He said, "Yeah, I know, but the $100's from your grandma."
And the FanDuel Sports Network's pre-, in-, and post-game reporter for the Blue Jackets, Dave Maetzold, joins us here on the Workday Kickoff, coming off another thrilling win. And Dave, by my count, the Jackets are now just 1 point behind Boston for that last wild card spot.
Yeah, and they've got to keep playing this way to get themselves up and over that hump, but they're doing exactly what Rick Bowness said they were going to do. Even though they lost those first 2 games out of the Olympic break, he was happy with the way they were playing, had to make a couple of adjustments, and now here they have won 3 in a row, and they're right there knocking on the door.
I mean, you look back to the coaching change, and now after last night's game, they're 13-3. In 16 games, just look like a completely different team. What is it?
Well, we've talked so many times about communication between the head coach and his players, and I think it's individual communication and it's understanding the systems that he wants this team to play. And that's defense first, of course, but it's also each individual player being allowed to do what they do best. He's not going to ask Kent Johnson to go and do the things that he asked Matthew Olivier to do and vice versa. And I think the players recognize that, and each individual player wants to bring what they do best to every game. And when you pull that all together, it's a collective, strong unit, maybe a little bit better than it was before.
The FanDuel Sports Network's Dave Maetzold, our guest here on the Workday Kickoff. All right, Mets, now that we're 16 games into his regime and we've a few games under our belt coming out of the Olympic break, tell us something new that only Maverick listeners will know.
I believe that we're seeing a different side of Rick Bowness now. When he came in, he was very happy, very glad to be back into the game, and almost a grandfatherly type. And I think we're seeing a little bit more of his competitiveness come out now, and a little bit more of his agitation when his team isn't playing exactly the way he wants them to play. And you know what? That's what it takes. I'm all for the grandfather stuff and everybody liking him and, shucks, I'm glad to be back. But now it's time to, hey, let's put the pedal to the metal and get into the playoffs.
Another big one tomorrow against a team they beat just about a month and a half ago in Utah, right?
Yeah, the Utah Mammoth, they helped us out last night with a 3-0 win, beat Philadelphia. Now, as is so common at this time of year, now you got to root against that team. Yeah, they helped us last night, but tomorrow night we got to beat them. Right. Same thing that happened with Nashville. They beat Nashville, and last night Nashville helped us by hammering Boston. So that's the way it goes at this time of year.
All right, Mets, thanks for joining us. Great work. We'll talk again next week on the Blue Jacket Report.
Let's hope they're in by that time, right?
All right.